Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 003 of The Road to the Checkered Bastard, the Warp training series following the 2026 Bunbury Three Waters Running Festival. As we've said in past episodes, we at Warp are incredibly grateful and fortunate to have been labelled as sponsors for this year's event, as it holds a very special place in our hearts. Last episode, we covered the Going the Distance seminar presented by Koombana Physiotherapy, learning all about the body and brain, how they work together, especially during endurance running, and how fueling helps us put one foot in front of the other over and over again. This week, we're fortunate enough to catch up with Ian Gibbs and Megan Gianfrancesco of Bunbury Runners Club, here to talk all things Bunbury Three Waters Running Festival and to give the listeners and competitors insight into what goes into organising an event that this year marks its 44th edition. Ian and Megan, welcome to The Road to the Checkered Bastard.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah. Thanks, Chris. Thanks for having us.
Yeah. No, very, very excited to have you both. Megan, I think this is your first time on the podcast, so
yes, definitely.
Welcome. Ian's a veteran now, so
I'm amongst royalty here.
Not at all. Just regular people. Look, before we get into the event details, I'd love to hear both of your thoughts on the Checkered Bastard, the lighthouse. It's an icon, and for those who have run the event before will understand the significance that the landmark plays in this race. Is it as tough as we make it out to be, or should we let the first-timers find out for themselves?
Well, I'll start. We run it all the time, so Megan and I would go over that hill at least once a week, maybe a couple of times a week. To me, it's just a hill. But it's a great landmark. So if you're coming back in all of the events, it's a great landmark to aim for. The 10Kers are only going to be about 1.5 Ks from the finish. The half marathons and the marathoners are half and quarter way through the event. So that's on the way out. And on the way back, and then you go past that, and it's 500 metres to the finish.
Yeah.
So, and it's all downhill.
Yeah.
And Megan lives there.
I live right next to the Checkered Bastard, which is great. I was every morning. I would say on a Thursday night when we're running in, it's definitely a pain in the ass. Nicely. When you've had a day at work and you're really tired, that can be a tough hill. But in seriousness, for the event, it's great. Look, you're halfway through, like Ian said. If you're doing the half, you're halfway through, and if you're doing the full, you're a quarter of the way through.
Yeah.
But, if you've done the City to Surf,
yeah,
we've done it many times.
That's
our hills. It's a bump in the road compared to the King.
But they haven't got a lighthouse to show it off.
No, exactly. That's right. And, a beautiful lighthouse it is.
Yes, thank you for putting it on the map.
Yeah, of course. So tell us, guys, how are things shaping up for Bunbury Three Waters 2026? And are you surprised by how fast the tickets sold out for everything between the 10K and the marathon?
Look, I guess we're not surprised because Megan and I, it goes back to the 40th year. Yep. And we decided that, to put an event like we were doing for 500 runners was really a lot of energy for not much reward. So between a group of us got together and really turned it on. So we got 1,400 starters this year.
Wow.
It's in really great shape. The course is great. The only thing we can't fix is the weather. We can't solve the weather. Mm-hmm. But everything else, everyone will have a pretty great experience. It doesn't sell out as quick as some of the running events in Western Australia, and we often wonder why. But then we only want we want the good runners. We want the runners that want to be here. So, But, we cap our numbers for a reason because we want incremental gain. We don't want to, get 2,000 or 3,000 runners and then mess it up. So we're only chasing incremental gain.
Yeah. I think we're really, really excited about how the growth of the run has been.
Yes.
Like Ian said, when we got together,
the 40th year.
40th year, so we're in our 44th year. We called in a specialist, I'll call him.
Megan's son.
My son, who's a bit of an entrepreneur in Bunbury and is really thinks outside the square. And he said, look, I'll give you 1,000 runners in the first year if you work with those and work on your marketing, your website and all the things that were needed. And sure enough, that year we did.
We got 1,000.
We hit 1,000,
Wow.
So it's just been forward from there with his guidance, which has been fantastic. And we've sold out all the distances this year.
Oh, wow. Okay.
About 5. So, so we're wrapped that everything's locked in, and we have the waiting list. But
mostly the half. There's a waiting list in the half. So the marathon's going up and down. People coming in and out, and I think there's probably half a dozen that are on the wait list for the marathon. So there's a fairly good chance they'll get in if they hang in there. The half, I think there's going to be a few people will miss out. And as race organisers, we're a small team. We're not a professional race organising team, so we do have to cap the numbers. Maybe next year, the 45th year, we might be able to bump them up a bit more, but we do have to cap the numbers just so that we can manage, all the inventory that goes with an event.
And just the course itself, as you know, it's quite windy. There's some really tight turns around cafes. It's a beautiful course as far as interaction with the public. You're not on your own very often. But, there is some really sharp corners. So if we, push it out to 5,000 people, it's just not going to work, So we want to keep it intimate and top quality.
Because what happens, you start opening up roads, and we open up one of the busiest roads in Bunbury, or close one of the busiest roads. But you start going on highways, you lose the appeal of being close to the water. And we're really close to the water. I think there's probably less than 2 kilometres that's not near water. So in the whole event. So, we don't want to lose that, because that's what the Three Waters is. So,
exactly. You'd lose the spirit of the place if you were to change the course dramatically and up the numbers and turn it into something like, Perth Running Festival, which is much bigger, but maybe the course leaves a lot to be desired in that case.
It's the unfortunate side of going for mass participation, I think. So we'll keep it like it is, and we'll judge this year. Next year we might say, oh look, we can handle another 200 or 300 in the marathon. But the club was built around this event, right? So the running club was virtually built around this event. So the marathon and the half marathon are our events that really, I guess, represents the Bunbury Runners Club. So we want to make sure it gets to 100 years.
And it just shows that sells out first now. The marathon. Who would have thought that the marathon and the half would have sold out over the 10s and the 5s? But that's the way it's going. Everyone's going for halves and fulls. So that's what we'll keep concentrating on.
Everyone wants to go bigger and better, always. So, maybe you touched on the Runners Club there. Maybe give us a brief history of the Bunbury Runners Club and where the Three Waters Running Festival has been, connected to that over the course of the last 44 years.
So the club really, it was a group of people that were in the athletics club in Bunbury. So, the Bunbury Athletics Club had some runners in it, but the marathon wasn't well represented, and the distance runners were probably not that well represented. And there was a couple of people here, a guy called Hank Stoffers, a couple of other people like Brian Kennedy and such, and they sort of started up and they said, well, look, we're gonna have some distance running events. So they actually started the Bunbury Marathon. I think it was in 82. Yeah, it was. In 82, they started the Bunbury Marathon, and the club was incorporated that year. It was operating a few years before that, but it was actually incorporated as the Bunbury Runners Club then. So really it is the cornerstone of the club. We represent it, in the club rooms. Every winner's represented on the board and all of those sort of things. So we have kept to our roots that, we were a distance running club. And over the years, it's only ever been organised by the club members. It's only been the club members that have put it together. I remember coming to do the event in about 88 and 89, and I loved it then. I was based in Perth, but back then it went everywhere, through the suburbs and out the back, and at one stage it was a 1-lap course. The Three Waters Festival has probably come up in the last 10 years, and but its cornerstone is still the marathon and the half.
And how many were in the first marathon?
The very first marathon, I think it was 34 people.
Wow.
That's total marathon, half marathon.
Wow.
It's interesting. A guy that won the half marathon in that event is actually running this year, a guy called John Collingridge.
Oh, yes.
So
Wow.
John's in his mid-70s, and he's got a bit inspired this year, and so he's doing the 10K. But
that's
but
incredible.
he won the first
Wow.
year. It was a pretty handy time too. I can't recall the actual time of it now, but it was pretty handy,
Yeah, sure. No, I mean, it's certainly an event that is seems to be has its own place in the WA running calendar and has its own identity. So, it's something we look forward to every year. Obviously, the club, this is not the only race that the club organises every year. There's lots of events, including your regular kind of club runs and stuff. Maybe go through what the calendar's like for the club and how has the running boom affected it?
Well, yeah, our first one for the year is the Get Careers Australia Day Fun Run, which has passed, obviously, on Australia Day. So that's been going for
close to 30
years. So that's a great, and that attracts a lot of visitors that have come down for Christmas and family. So that's always a great one, just a 5 or a 10. Then we have the Patriot Types Father's Day, which Ian started. That's only been going.
That's probably only been going about 6 years.
6 years.
But that was to sort of balance off trying to get men.
Yeah, because we had the ladies' fun run and the guys were missing out.
Yeah. Well, the women's only fun run's been a terrific success. I mean, the amount of people that have started their running careers, including Megan. There were so many people started their running careers at the women's only. And so we thought we might be able to achieve the same with the Father's Day. But what it really has turned out to be is really just a family run.
That's great.
And, everyone's allowed bikes, dogs, cats, aunties, uncles.
My husband is a non-runner, but he will come down to the Father's Day and we'll walk. It's around the swamp, the big swamp we call it. So it's nice and the kids come and it's great.
So I don't think we've had a day when it hasn't been wet, but nonetheless, no. And we've hooked up with a local hot rod club and they bring their old cars down and things like that. So, but it's about men getting out there and doing something, and the best way to encourage them has been to do it as a family. Because I think if we had a men's only event, none of the locals would only the fast locals would turn up.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
So it's that's a good one. It's a good event. Gets about 150 people in it.
And then in October, of course, we've got the Vestrum Women's Fun Run, which has been going for
20 plus.
Well, that's where I started my running.
Yep.
Journey. So I went down to the Runners Club because they were advertising that they do a 6-week introduction to running, and I wasn't a runner at all. I was trying to run, but I didn't class myself as a runner and still don't. But
she only runs marathons now, though.
So, no, I went down and did the 6-week training course with the club, and it was great. And that got me on my journey to do the 5K that year. And nearly died and vomited. It was awful and thought I'd never go back. But the club were saying, look, you've started now, don't give up. So thank goodness I kept going. So that was about 2011, I think. Yeah, and joined the club and it's been great. Best thing,
And now a marathon run.
Wow.
Actually.
Are you, out of curiosity, are you running this year, Megan? Are you running
because we're on the committee, Ian and I, we haven't been able to run this event for 5 or 6 years. But it was the place that I did my very first marathon. Under Ian's guidance. He through the club again, we had a group of about 4 or 5 ladies that Ian guided with our program and got us across the line, which he always
still does.
Yeah. So that was really enjoyable to do it as a group with the guidance of the Runners Club, and guiding us right through the weeks of training. And and really enjoyed that run. That was my first ever marathon. So so that's how I started.
Yeah, fantastic. No, very good. Touching on a bit of history, the past few years we've seen people from Perth come down and run some pretty fast times. I think last year we had Carlos Aquino run 2:34, Sarah Greenwood run 2:51, both of those in the marathon, and then Dean Menzies won the half in 67 minutes and Ashford Roberts won in 1:22. what are some of the great wins? Because this has been running for a long time. What are some great wins you've seen over the years, and what are the current course records?
Well, the Bunbury record, the fastest marathon run in Bunbury was by Dave Eltringham, and he did a 2:24.
Mm-hmm.
That was way back. I mean, we're talking in the 90s, and there was a bunch of the really fast times in the 90s, and people say, the courses were short. I can guarantee that they weren't short. I used to measure the course back there was actually it was pain in the bum sometimes, because he made all the courses a little bit long so that they weren't short, But back then there were some pretty good runners around. Clive Hicks, I think, ran a 2:26. Ray Harris, another 2:27. But in the modern era, Carlos has probably got the crown at the moment. Ryan Bailey, Carlos, they've been sort of around that 2:30, 2:34, 2:32.
Yep.
So they're the really got the crown on this course for sure. And it really hasn't changed. Probably fundamentally, the course hasn't changed for probably 5 or 6 years. Astrid ran some fast times in the early times. So I think she ran some 2:50s. We had about 6 or 7 ran 2:50s, for the marathon.
Yeah.
There's a runner down here, Mary Morgan, Mary Frances Morgan. Mary ran 6 marathons in the low 2:50s. And won all of those.
Wow.
We also had another runner down here, Karen Gobby, ran some very fast half marathon times. I think she's won 7 of the half marathons down here.
Incredible.
But I had a bit of a look. So Carlos is coming back.
Yep.
So,
very good.
Astrid's coming back. Vlad Ixel's got in the half.
Nice.
Local runner Zach Gildersleeve, who's part of our committee too.
Yeah,
great young guy. Hannah Paget's, Anna Mance. Anna came into running quite late.
She used to run in the earlier days and then had a little bit of a few years off, and has recently come back and is running amazingly and doing lots of the majors.
Yes.
So
wow.
That on her.
Yeah,
and
she's going to the World Champs.
Is World Champs in
Africa,
Cape Town. So she's off too. So she's incredible.
Yes,
she's doing really well.
In a very short period, she's become a very competitive runner, and certainly a very competitive age group runner.
Yeah.
So I went through the list. I didn't get through them. Tina Ingraham's coming down.
Yep,
Tina has won our event a few times. So that's great to see Tina back. I can remember, when she first started marathon running, when she was living down this way, and she was around the club. So it's really great to see her come down. I'm sure she's going to enjoy it. Glenn Gibson's another local runner that sails under the radar and just chips out really good marathons. He's again chasing all the world's marathons. So I think he's got most of them under his belt. So that's a cross section. I'm sure there's a lot more that I've missed in the quick.
You might know some, Chris, that are coming down that we don't know of. Some six.
Yeah, I do know a couple. I won't give them away because I know that they probably want to remain anonymous as much as possible. But I have a feeling that Carlos's 2:32 might be in danger there this year, which would be interesting to see. So
that'll be intense, won't it?
Yeah, exactly. So no, looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing what turns up on race day. Because anything can happen, and pending some beautiful race conditions, it does make for a very fast race. So during our discussions a few months back, Ian, you mentioned that you were targeting first timers specifically, whether it be for the marathon or the half marathon. What is it about Three Waters that makes this event perfect for the first timer?
Well, I'll probably start. I mean, I've run on this course and I've probably helped set this course up. So I'm a marathon runner at heart. So I think the course we've talked about it before, Chris. I've done a lot of marathons. I've done quite a lot of international marathons just as a holiday thing. My feeling is that the course it's a first timers course because A, it's picturesque. B, it goes in lots of different directions. So if it's a windy day, you don't have to persevere with one direction for a long time.
Yeah.
And people might think that's a small thing, but I have run a few marathons where they've been out and backs and not that pretty if you've got the wrong wind. So this goes in many directions, and that was deliberate. if you're a young family person and you want to do your first marathon, there is a really good way to access 4 or 5 spots on the course and not interfere with the event. So a family could come down, follow their partner, go out to the big swamp, cut across town, get across to the Koombana area, and they'd have a playground there. There's 7 playgrounds on the course. So then their kids are entertained a little bit. They might have trouble getting them away from the playgrounds. And so to me, it's a first-timers course, because when I did my first marathon, I did my first marathon in Perth, fantastic course, but it was very hard for my family, 2 little kids and such, to get out on the course without interfering with the event. So, and I still loved it. I mean, they were fantastic events, but I think, this is a course where a family could come down for the weekend and enjoy it.
Yeah, and especially as a first timer. I think I did my first marathon in Bunbury, and it was great to have my family visually out there at different spots where they'd run down, and the cafes and even the crowd from the cafes, because they're all open. And that, when you're struggling, which, you will be, there's times, let's face it, it's that little boost of energy that you get from seeing someone or a sign out there, or, a cheer from, somebody that knows your name, that is local or not local. And, I think it's a pretty course. And like you said, there's lots of places where your families and friends can cheer you on. And, because it's not that long out and back, and you're on a freeway for, for hours and back. So, it's a beautiful new course. And if it's the first course for you, a first marathon or half marathon, it's going to be a PB, isn't it?
Yeah,
so,
exactly. And it's memorable.
And it's memorable, yes. Yeah, great memories.
100%. Couldn't agree more. Now, one of those first timers we've spoken with previously was Alice Luscombe of Koombana Physiotherapy. Unfortunately, it looks like she might have a bone stress injury, which is rather devastating. I've been following Alice's story through the Koombana Physio Instagram, and that's been great to date. So hopefully she can magically pull something together there and get on the start line. What does it mean for... so Koombana Physiotherapy are a partner of the running festival. What does it mean to have those long-term sponsorships for an event like Three Waters?
It's essential. I mean, the club would underwrite the event. We would always underwrite the event. I think it's the cornerstone of the club. It'd be a different event if we had to underwrite it on our own bat. It's a purely volunteer club. To manage the costs, we're just talking about Koombana, they've been with us about 10 years, indirectly or directly. Sean is part of the family, he's a runner as well. So, and then of course Ash and Alice have come along now and sort of really told that first timer story. Alice is talking tonight, we'll talk a bit about that later, but Alice is talking tonight. She hasn't given up.
Awesome.
Which is great, and her story is a really good story, and that is the epitome of many people that are running and have run in this event. It's a journey. There's going to be challenges, and she's a great role model, and she's in the inspirational talk tonight for a reason, isn't she?
She's in a mood at the moment, I heard today.
Yes.
But
I got the photo.
she'll be determined. She's a very determined lady, so she'll get there. But about the sponsors, we couldn't do the event without the sponsors. It's as simple as that. I don't think people, until I got on the committee, I didn't realise the cost that it takes for an event. The cost of the fencing, the toilets, the
traffic management, it's 25K.
The timing systems, the bibs you wear, all the things you take for granted when you turn up at an event and you stick your bib on and you grab your water and your fruit and you're just like,
yes,
there to run, and that's what you're there for.
Not giving away much. It's a bum and expensive exercise.
When you get behind the scenes, you go, oh wow, I didn't realise that we need another 10 toilets and we need this. So we couldn't do it without our amazing sponsors. And this year, Settlement Box Marathon, we've got the Tellison. which have been on for a few years.
Taliesin have been with us for a few years, and that's a large corporation that's investing in the community.
Yeah.
They're investing back in the community. RCR, they're a victim of me because I used to manage RCR for many years. They've been probably part of the marathon for probably close to 30 years, right? So on and off. Sometimes they didn't know about it because obviously I worked with them.
I don't know.
But
Koombana, of course. Yes.
And so at Koombana, and then Little Spencer.
Little Spencer's the little cafe that we've got in town, which we hope everyone will support on the Saturday, and one is staying down in Bunbury. We run from Little Spencer Cafe every Saturday morning. It's only been a couple of years. So the first owners, young guys who ran with us, straight away wanted to be involved, and they did the croissants last year, if you remember.
Oh, I do remember. Yeah, awesome. Yeah.
This year, new owners, but they've said, look, we'll pick up.
Yep.
And they have been kindly to donate a towel to every marathoner and marathoner. Yep. So that's been huge. So that's great for the Little Spencer. So we couldn't do it without them.
You just can't do it. As I say, I mean, WA Running Podcast is now really, to us, you're a sponsor, you're a part of our team now. The promotion that you provide us is real information to people. It's not glitzy. It is pure, real information, and that helps a lot. Send Radio, we picked up with Send Radio as well, and although the audience is quite different, it's a sports broadcaster, and so it's putting Bunbury and the event on a more global footprint, on a national footprint anyway.
Yes.
So all of those sponsors, it's a big turnover to run these events now, and the Runners Club itself. Sorry about that.
Okay. That's a sponsor right now on the phone.
But anyway, I forgot to turn that off. But yes, we build a relationship with the sponsors, and hopefully we can, that turns into a long-standing relationship. The City of Bunbury are really on board this year, and the mayor's even running in the half marathon. So that'll be his first half as well.
That's his first.
Yeah. So, but the City of Bunbury have come on board because they've recognised now that this is a mass participation event in the city, and it's bringing, more than half the audience will come from out of town. So, that's important for the city.
Yeah, the city are really supporting the sporting events now, which is great because they realise how much it helps the small businesses in town and all the accommodation, and it puts Bunbury on the map, which is what we want.
Yes.
No, very good.
Bunbury too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think the last couple of years we've been down there with a group of friends, and we go down there the day before and we might have lunch somewhere at a cafe, and then we might go out for dinner, and so you end up all that we're not the only people that are doing that, so that does impact the community more broadly. You mentioned the talks tonight, and Alice is talking. Who else have you got speaking at the inspirational talks tonight?
Well, tonight, I think you probably understand my thinking of this is that everyone doesn't realise they're an inspiration to someone. So, but they are,
Yes.
And when I first thought about this, I thought, I'll write a list of all the people that inspire me. It'd take up pages because everyone has a little impact on someone else. So the people we got talking tonight, Dennis, you could write. He's a book of inspiration. I don't think people know Dennis that well, but Dennis Devereaux has been a part of the Runners Club right back in the probably 40 years. Dennis had a serious accident a few years ago, a very serious accident, and had quite a bit of trauma in his life as well. Since he's had that accident, he's completed many marathons. He's completed many Ironman events. He's completed the Ultraman twice, 3 times. He's done the Rotto swim, port to pub. He's mastered the wheelchair, the hand cycle. He's the face of the City to Surf, for the wheelies, right? Yep. So Dennis is the face of the City to Surf. He likes to wear lots of funny outfits. He's got a thing about wearing funny outfits. Yeah. But he's a great guy. I know him personally very well. but he's inspirational without even knowing he is, and he's quite humble. But it would be good to get his story a little bit more detailed, because people know he's inspirational, but I'm not sure they actually know what he's achieved.
Yeah.
Young Aidan Bean is a really young member of the club. He's only 16 years old. He's got aspirations. He's inspired by the people around him, but, you know, people will be looking at Aidan over the next decade, and they'll be inspired.
That's a name to remember, Aidan.
Yeah. He's a budding triathlete. The inspirational story there is it's a family occurrence, because to be a top athlete in the regions, mum will sacrifice much. Mum and dad will sacrifice much. The siblings will probably sacrifice as well, because there'll be constant trips to Perth, and he's on that journey. So, you know, Sarah would be taking Aidan to Perth many times. So it's a bit about them as well, because for him to be successful, and I followed Ryan Bailey for 2 decades to his success, and you just know that that's an inspirational story on its own, right? And then we got Amy Swift. Amy was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at 4, and her story, even I don't know the detail of Amy's story.
She's very quiet.
She's an incredibly quiet achiever. She'll tell us a lot more about her story tonight, but I know that she's done many ultra events, a number of Ironmen, and she just rolls them out. She does these mega events, raises money for others. She does it subtly, but she's just joined our committee, and a club committee, and I just felt it was time for people to know a bit about her story.
She's been diabetic, because she's done the Bali Hope. I don't know if you know the Bali Hope. It's like an 80K through the night in Bali, and she's on her, I think it's her 4th or 5th time. She's heading over there after the marathon, after the Three Waters. Wow. And with all her conditions, she's just incredible.
Yeah, she keeps popping up. She's an ED nurse as well, you know, so you can probably tell a little bit about what she's like. So she's headlining the act tonight.
Yeah, she's
awesome.
Obviously, Alice is there too. Alice will be telling us a bit more about her story. And then during the evening, we'll have a chat. We'll probably touch in with Ash. We'll touch in with another lady in the club, Deb Carver. Deb was reluctant to talk because, you know, but she's not a first half marathon. But, you know, this is a more senior lady who's coming back, and she was inspired by her daughter doing a half marathon. So we'll touch in with her just briefly, just to see how her journey's going as well. But she'll run the half, and she'll do really well. She's worked hard to do that, hasn't she?
She is working really hard. Deb did a first half in Perth.
Yes.
I think. Yeah, but she's had a bit of a break, and now she's come back. So she'll do the walk run, and that's great. And that's what it's participation. It's being out there.
Yeah.
You want to walk it, you want to run it. You know, it's just that achievement of.
Yeah. And I reckon Deb would have volunteered at 30 or 20 of our events.
Wow. Yeah.
And the triathlon and the Ironman and the cycling.
She's amazing.
A consummate volunteer as well. So that's so they're the sort of stories, I wouldn't say any of those are super athletes. They're just super people, and that's what this is about,
Yeah, 100%. I think a couple of weeks ago we had a gentleman from up here in Perth, Ashul Shah, on the podcast talking about he recently won an award for being an inspirational runner at the Marathon Club here in WA, up in Perth. He didn't realise that he was inspirational to other people, as you suggested. But there are these people through the community, whether they're the best runners or whether they're, just another mid-pack runner, but something about them will be inspirational to somebody. So it's important for people in the community to hear those stories. Absolutely. Speaking of a bit of inspiration, Ian, you were recently over in Japan on a family holiday where you ran Ibusuki Marathon and Shinjuku Half. As you've said, I think you've run a lot of marathons all around the world. When you head off to these places, do you take a great deal of inspiration from them to be able to carry into, the Three Waters Running Festival each year as you plan it?
Well, certainly. I think Megan and I have talked about this a lot. We pick up little tips everywhere.
Yeah.
Some of them are the tips not to do. as well. But
Yeah.
it was in Japan. The 2 events we did in Japan were just awesome. The connection with the crowds, the support, the volunteers. It's an honour in Japan to volunteer. So there's a waiting list for volunteers.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
Wow. Yeah, right.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah. I know, right?
It's a community event. To me, to be a part of that community, and look, we're going to do a bit about. We may not get it perfect each year, but we're going to do a bit more about our volunteers, because they make their volunteers, something I picked up, they make their volunteers totally part of the event. Every volunteer's got a shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Every volunteer is really a part of the event. So, and they're on the sides, they're vocal, they support you. So, we'll work at that. We've got about 30 marshals on the course of the Three Waters. We've got about 150 people
volunteers.
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah.
That's a big job on its own.
Yeah, and Karen
Clark has done an amazing job. She organises all the volunteers.
Yeah.
So.
And we pull together volunteers not only from the club but from community groups, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that helps them do some fundraising too.
Yeah.
So we pull together community. I mean, Karen's done a fabulous job to bring that into a more professional level too, so that the documentation and stuff that they get. So that was one of the learnings from Japan this year. Bands, like music, there was music everywhere.
Yeah.
And we're working. Megan's done a lot of work.
I've worked on the course entertainment, trying to add a few more. So if anyone out there listening wants to entertain on the course, I need a couple more.
Yeah. But that, I think that's what we pick up, and we're all runners. The whole committee are runners, so they're picking up little ideas. Some work, some don't. But if you don't, Brian Kennedy was one of our inspirational leaders of the club. Brian always said, never get to the end too quick. Incremental improvement all the time, and constantly. The runners are the most important people out there, and that's not a bad philosophy. So little things from Tokyo and
what about the costumes?
Well, I don't think we'll ever get to the stage where people dress up as much as they do in Japan. Having said that, the Shinjuku half, there wasn't too many in costumes. They were fast. But down the Izubuki, the amount of people dressed up was just amazing, including the spectators. People everywhere in costumes. Dennis has certainly embraced that. Dennis Devereaux, I mean, he certainly has done it. We've had a few that are running costumes, but I reckon if you could really build on that.
But the Japanese, they love it.
They love it.
They've always known for costumes.
Yes. So, they're the little things we pick up each time. We've picked up things not to do as well over the time.
For sure.
Some of these events can be quite chaotic, can't they? So.
Yeah, absolutely. I think last year there was a guy, speaking of costumes, there was a guy who ran the marathon at Three Waters in the complete absence of a costume. I think he had just a pair of shorts on, no shirt and no shoes. I don't remember what time he finished him, but I remember seeing him cross the line and thought, bloody hell, that's wild. But hopefully his shins were okay after that. So I just so next year obviously is a big year. It's the 45th edition. Has planning already started for that? And I guess what have you got in mind for a big anniversary like that?
Well, I think we're always thinking next year, aren't we?
Yeah, we've been talking about it already.
About next year, making it the biggest and the best, the 45th year. It's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, Megan's in charge of the T-shirt.
I'm the merch.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah, there'll be a T-shirt.
Yeah, we're hoping, fingers crossed, that we can give everyone a free shirt next year. So that'll be an incentive for everyone to sign up really fast.
Yeah.
Because we want to give back, because we couldn't do these events without participation. Let's face it, it's all about the runners, and that's what we're here for. So we really want to give back and thank everybody for participating over the 45 years.
Yeah.
So
so I was going to do it this year. I've just about got all the stats now for the people that have done 20 and 15. So we'll do a bit of a celebration around them as well. So it's hard when you're organising the event and doing those side things. And I just ran out of time this year, but I have got a pretty good list now of the people that have done 15 plus. But I can't do that as a spontaneous thing. I've got to get out there and probably contact them early and make sure they have. So we'll do something through social media for that and recognise perhaps the people that have done 15 plus next year. The course won't change much. The course will be very, very similar. And we'll just try and keep that festival atmosphere growing and, looking at what vendors we get.
Yeah, probably add more, more of what we can. Entertainment on course and try and turn it into a celebration.
Keep the family feel, keep the family feel.
Yeah, beauty. I just quickly wanted to touch on Ash Ritson, and she will absolutely hate this because she's appeared on the podcast too many times from her point of view, too many times in recent months. But what does it mean to the Bunbury community for someone like Ash to go and win Bustleton Marathon back in early Feb?
Well,
Ash is just the best, isn't
she's awesome.
And she's my inspiration. I met her quietly in a bar one night, and my son said, "Hey, that girl over there is she's a trail runner. You should go talk to her." And I'm like, "Really?" Because she would never ever say she runs, or she's just an amazing woman. And so that's very exciting.
Rido, I guess I've had to go to Koombana Physio over the years. It has been a place I have visited often. But her friendly nature, and the fact that she's achieved what she's achieved. I know what it's like to break 3 hours, and it takes an enormous amount of effort, and it doesn't come easily. And she set a goal on it, and she's done it. I would have liked to have her to do it in Bunbury last year. We really celebrated. But I mean, we were wrapped. I mean, I followed her, and made sure that I got the congratulations out there pretty quick because it's pretty great effort. And what she's working with Alice, and that way she communicates makes it easy to follow a hero, doesn't it? Because
absolutely.
To me, she could easily be one of our heroes.
And she's pretty she's a trail runner.
Yeah,
she's actually a trail runner, and she's turned to race running, road running. Yeah, because I know her as a trail runner with the UTMB, and the incredible story that her feeding a child along the course is just mind blowing as a mum. Do that sort of thing, even to get into UTMB. And then to change now to road running, she's incredible. A mum, a businesswoman, incredible.
It is.
It takes time, as we know, to run a marathon.
Yeah.
You've got to be out there.
And what happens, because when you set those aspirations, there is a load on your mind as well. That becomes sometimes a bit of a burden. It loads up, and then there's an expectation that every time you run, you're going to be the fastest, or you're going to be the best, and that's a burden.
Well, I think Ryan Reeston, if you could touch, he had that sort of.
Ryan had that expectation on
Bunbury
him.
Olympian.
Yeah. And Ryan had that expectation every time he ran. People expected him to win it. Which is a burden. It's a heavy burden.
Yeah.
But no, Rido handles it pretty well.
She's great.
And she glides around. She
always has a smile on her face.
she's got a pretty nice style too.
Yeah, she does.
She's one of the favourites.
Yeah,
I think she won't run a record. I think she's a pacer, eh?
She's a pacer this year, yeah. So she's obviously giving up her time and her fitness to be able to contribute in a way that she can, which is awesome.
And that's great. Thanks for the pacers. That's a new addition this year. Thank you to you guys.
Yeah.
Looking forward to having a chat with all of those guys in a couple of weeks' time. We're going to catch up with each of them and just, some of them will have never run Bunbury before. Some of them are returning for the second or third time. So, or someone like Ash who's a local. So, it's going to be good to catch up with them. Now, I think we've said at the top, basically everything's sold out but there are relatively varying like kind of lengths of wait lists depending on what you're after. You mentioned the half is pretty long. What's the 10K looking like in terms of a wait list at the moment?
We've because of the load on our on Laurie, who looks after all this, we've cut the 10s and 5s off now. We're not going to jump them around. If there's a really strong story, we might be able to slide someone into the 10 or 5. But we've got to a stage now where we're 4 weeks out. Really can't be. We'll do the best we can now for the halves and fulls. And when I was looking up some of the people that are coming, I did notice a couple of people have entered both events. Both are events. So I might communicate with them and just see which one they're actually going to do. Because sure. Might open it up for a little. But Laurie's done an amazing job to try and help everyone. But the 10s and 5s will be done now. And it'll be really trying to manage to get all those that want to into the half and full. There's about 30 in the half and 5, I think, in the full.
On the waiting list.
Oh, well, cross your fingers, guys, if you're listening. Well, I'm sure the guys will help sort you out. You guys do a great job. Any final pieces of advice for runners getting out there on the 12th of April?
I would say, enjoy the run. If it's your first run, obviously it's going to be a PB. You're going to just soak up the atmosphere. Take advantage of the paces. If you're doing the marathon for the first time, definitely jump on the paces because that's a good sure way to make sure that you can get to achieve or get close to achieving what you want, unless you see that balloon or disappear, like's happened to me a few times. But be realistic. Don't go to 3:30 if you're at 4:30. Just enjoy it. Soak it in. Take advantage of your friends and family being there. Stay at the club. We've got the food vans, we've got the bouncy castles, we've got all the kids. So bring the family down and enjoy. And you've done the hard work. I always say, your hard work's done before you get to the line. So you make sure you've turned up. Don't
cram in the last week.
Don't.
It's a waste of energy.
So you've done the work. Be happy with where you are. Don't go out too fast. And just be grateful that you can run, because as we know, you can't always get to the line. So take every run and enjoy everything.
And I think, enjoy the visual aspect of the run too. I mean, there's some great outlooks as you come back along, the back beach and things like that. And then if you're down on the Saturday, Little Spencer Cafe, Megan's Boutique, Sabotage.
Come and see Sabotage. Come and see me.
Come and see Megan's Sabotage. But, enjoy Bunbury because there is some things to do here. It's not the iconic holiday destination of some places around, but, it's a very, very nice place to get around. You might even see a dolphin.
Yeah, you might probably see a dolphin. So I just say enjoy it. Enjoy every minute and look up. Try and look up. If you can. But if you're there to win, don't listen to us.
Very, very true, guys. It's a beautiful course. It's a beautiful town, and there's beautiful people to get to know there. So that finish line vibe is very much one of my favourites in the WA event calendar. I mean, there's just nothing like it. If there's music, last year we had the MCs. Amy was on the mic.
Got them back again.
Very good.
Amy and Eric.
It's fantastic. Looking forward to that. So, I think for people who are heading down from Perth for the first time, it will blow your mind. I mean, it's a fantastic event. So, very, very much looking forward to it. Guys, thanks so much for joining me on episode 003 of The Road to the Checkered Bastard. Next episode, as I said, we'll be catching up with our pace team to see what they're doing as they approach race day. Listeners can reach out to us on WA Running Pod on Instagram. Our email is warunningpodcast@gmail.com. Our Strava group is Warp. Ian and Megan, it's always fascinating to talk about this event and the event the club that pulls it together. All the best with the final preparations. I look forward to seeing you both on race day, and to the listeners, we'll see you all next time on the road to the Checkered Bastard.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Chris.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks to the Warp team.
Thanks, guys.